Welcome back to Eintlek, Let's Connect. When we lose someone, we always look for a way to turn that grief into something sacred. My next guest has done exactly that, blending spirit and sound into what she calls African high art. The legendary Simphiwe joins me to unpack the journey behind her latest project, Moya. Molo Simpiwe.
Molo sis.
Unjani?
Ndiphilile khonto kunjani?
Hayi nami ndiphilile akhonto. So Moya is your latest project. When did you work on this? Is this a year already?
No, actually this was in 2022. So I just took time to release it, but it was created in 2022.
In 2022.
Yes.
Do you ever know what your music means to people? Do you ever think about it like what does my music to mean people? Do you ever have that conversation with yourself?
I do not have it with myself because then that would affect how I create the music. I would then create the music to please the people instead of doing it authentically because this is how I feel. But when I do meet them, I get to understand how they feel about my work.
So when you do the work that you do, if we go back as far back as Zandisile to now, what is that thing that says, I think my work is ready now to be presented to the people? What happens when you create?
I never get the thought. I have to be dragged, kicking and screaming from my studio.
You want to hold on to it longer?
No, I just want to work on it some more. I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So I always never think that I'm done. It takes quite a lot for me to get to that point where I know that now I'm done.
Okay. So when you your projects, when they come out, Moya came out, I think earlier this year.
Yes, earlier this
Was
year.
there a specific reason why you dropped it this year?
No, but I also believe that our time is not God's time. Our time is not the spirit world's time. So everything happens at the right time, if you allow it. And if you force it, then things may go haywire, which is what you don't want.
Okay. So how have you learned to figure that this is the right time? Or
I've always known.
You've always,
from when I left my bursary in 1999 to come and finish my studies in Joburg, where the future seemed uncertain. If I would get a place to stay or if I would get a school, but I knew deep down that everything was going to work out.
Wow. So you say this project helped you get back to, I don't know, self in a way. What does that mean?
This project, it grounded me. It allowed me to explore my feelings. But most importantly, this project was my send-off to my mother. A woman who had raised me in a certain way that helped me become who I became. So when my mom passed, I wrote Mumbatise immediately. Her passing was unexpected, but during COVID times, it was also kind of something that we may expect could happen to us too.
So today on the show, we've been trying to navigate, communicating from listening to being able to think on your feet and connect with other people, and that's what the show is really about. How does your music help you communicate your inner feelings, like grief? And because this project really speaks about your journey and
grief and
grieving your mother as well, and it's different with how you're grieving privately as well as being a public figure and bringing it into your work.
Excuse me. So for me, this could have been a private thing, my grief could have been private. But, it was just after we had gone through a lot of grief that we could not express. Because personally, I would have felt selfish if I were now to put all of my grief on other people, knowing that they were going through something similar. So it was a time when we swallowed our grief a lot. So I felt it was important to create this safe healing circle that we could all partake in.
Yeah, it was a very challenging time, and then you talk about how we swallowed our grief because the entire world was going through what we were going through, and then people at individual levels had these personal experiences, but at the same time you were not seeing everyone that you would see normally. So you grieve in that private space, and then when we got back to so-called life,
like
you still almost like had to go. Did you feel like that?
Yes, when we're halfway, where they said, but okay, social distancing, this and this and that, a theater cannot have, a full house. It must only be, leave a seat in between. When we're still going through that, that's when now we could at least see each other in some ways. And that is when now we could express these feelings. But we still felt that guilt of expressing these feelings when we know that people are going through a lot.
So I think in one of your presentations for this project, you did some work with Gregory Maqoma.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Gregory Maqoma is the creative director of this project. We've worked together in the past on quite a few productions. He's my go-to person and a good friend of mine. If I'm doing a project of this magnitude and type, definitely I will go to Gregory. I'd rather go to him than anyone else. We've done this since the beginning of my career. So basically I've known him for 20 years. When I had Zandisile, when it was still a cappella songs, he was one of the first people to hear that work.
Well, for him to feel the music?
Yes. No, to hear it, when it was still not produced and all of those things, when it was still in its raw form.
Yeah.
Like the acapellas. Zandisile was a cappella, Direti was a cappella. So he heard it in that form from my studio.
How have you been able to keep that relationship for that long? And why is it so important creatively for you to have him there as one of those people?
I think for me, the only way I can keep these relationships is also by keeping my distance.
Okay.
Always, loading it over people or being in the space all the time, because now I need a lot of space.
Yeah.
So let's miss each other. Instead of, every weekend I'm seeing you or we're talking all the time, let's miss each other. And not get to a space where now we had, we lack respect for each other. We've gotten too comfortable in each other's spaces that we don't respect each other. So I'm a loner by nature.
Okay.
And this has helped me save a lot of relationships because I'm not always in your face.
Yeah. So when somebody comes, for example, to a show or embrace the project, Moya, but they're dealing with a lot of grief, is there a way for you to guide them how they can, I don't know, receive what the message and or does it unlock something in them?
No, there isn't. I think we all grieve differently. But at the bottom of it, it's acceptance. Because when you swallow all of that pain, it will explode inside of you. How you grieve is up to you, but the acceptance part of it is very important. Otherwise, that grief will then destroy you from the inside out and even spoil your relationships.
That is true. All right, well, 2026, what can we expect from Simphiwe Dana?
Penny, I'm 46 years old now.
Oh, only!
It's a time of reflection for me and perhaps focusing on love, in a healthy way. And touring Moya.
Okay.
Working more with orchestras because I love working with orchestras rather. And also heading certain talks.
Yeah.
You know.
Conversations.
Yes,
Okay.
conversations.
Okay.
I would like to do that this year.
Inspired by the music that you've given over the years.
To try and connect with people at the level that I'm at.
Yeah.
Not because, you know, I'm trying to show off myself, but I just feel like because I'm such a loner, I hide myself so much. You'll only see me when I'm performing or like when I'm being silly on social media.
Yeah.
But besides that, you will never see me anywhere.
Well,
so
it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it suits me.
Yes,
it suits my character.
Yeah. Okay.
But I feel like now it's time to step out and have these conversations outside of the singing.
Yeah.
Just have these conversations like
Be out there a little bit.
with people.
Okay.
And open myself up to them in that way, but in controlled environments.
Yeah. I think that should be something you should explore.
I think I will.
Okay, you're going to be performing for us a little bit later?
Yes.
Great stuff. Thank you so much, Simpiwe, and of course, Moya, and all the projects are available on all digital platforms.
Thank you so much.
There you have it. You can sit, don't go anywhere.
I thought it's time for me to go.
Yes, she wants to go perform. Healing can be our greatest masterpiece, and when we come back, Simpiwe takes the stage for a very special live performance of Moya, so you don't want to miss it.
Laguchani langa zakubui komo na kucinga ngawe lagu choni langa